because I've got a detective eye. You think they are just acting. I was in Chicago. If an incident happens, within minutes, there is an ambulance or two ambulances. There is a helicopter already in the sky directing the ground forces to where exactly. Because sometimes GPS can lose you. Okay, can become your enemy if you don't understand how to maneuver. And of course, certainly, if you are using a phone GPS, the phone GPS may not be as accurate as a Garmin. So you find that you get lost. Okay, even there in the States they get lost, but they find their way quickly because also of the design of cities. Roads are designed in such a way that if this road is blocked, okay, and not an alternative is found. Now, if we block Great East Road, let's say at Unza, okay, or at the Mumana Pleasure Resort, then much of the traffic, either to go east or west, is trapped. Okay, I've seen colleagues from police, the anti-robbery squad, my colleagues, chasing thin air now because suddenly there is the traffic jam. They are not going to jam. That's why sometimes you hooting, but sometimes it doesn't help. So you find that time of exposure is very important. A crime happens or an incident happens, the first responder, that's the reason why I call the first responder, it should be the first to be on that particular scene. Okay? Not the neighbors phoning, where are you? Where are you? You should be the ones who saying, who are your neighbors here? You arrive at the crime scene or incident scene early enough. Okay? The whole set is there. Not a scenario where somebody has forgotten the ambulance is coming very late. Then the work of a paramedic becomes tough. Or the forensic expert is in town. By the time he reaches a crime scene, a big wind has blown over the particular crime or incident scene, such that as much as possible, very important residues have been blown.
That's why
So for me, a first responder within minutes is very important because sometimes seconds can save a building. Seconds can also save a life. So immediately you are there, collect. Don't assume you are going to receive an instruction. Okay? That is why I showed this because it's still problematic. I showed this because it's still problematic. Because in Zambia, we really don't have a very, very good coordination system. You people work like you are alone. Okay? The police also work there like they are alone. So at the end of the day, even you amongst yourselves, Church Road is working like they are alone. The airport, they are working like they are alone. So you find that sometimes JVs, joint venture commissions, are not well orchestrated. So we've been trying to, and by the way, when we're designing this thing, we're looking at the region. Okay? We're looking at the region. Other regions, they are more military. Everything is just by the military. Everything is organized. But here, we've got a civil unit and the defense and security unit. Now, it's a seamless arrangement of these two. That is a little bit difficult now. Okay? Hence, we have a disorganized, organized coordination system. Okay? Which needs to be thrashed out so that you people take as much as possible a very top role. Okay? Yeah. Are we together? Sometimes Zema, first responders there are on the scene. Then we are asking, where are the firefighters? Because I do a lot of consultants with Zema myself. We do a lot of pesticides. We do a lot of toxic chemicals. These are flammables. together with them. Like the one recent one was the pollution that took place in Chambeshi. Okay, that's for metals. But the previous 2 years ago, was it 2 or 3 years ago, when that fuel laden was it along Mungi Road, the one that it started spilling, and then suddenly the fire. Then up to now, no one knows how the fire was started. Was it started by a bullet? Was it started by, because we don't know, there was a police who shot, but was it started by a bullet? We don't know, because we need to understand the forensics. Okay? So who goes to the scene first becomes very important. As a key first responder, take samples. Okay? Take samples. Secure the incident scene in the first place, so that as much as possible you take samples, and then sample collection. If you suspect something is volatile, you need to have a dewar to make sure that it is cool as possible. You can't collect something that is volatile and you're just putting it like on that concrete. It's also going to evaporate from there. You're not going to find it. So sample collection, I think chain of custody for samples, I don't know if it has been taught to you. We do that. Okay? Who amongst you in a group, because you need to go as I said, who amongst you should do? Take a sample. Okay? And pass it to who? That chain of custody must be well established. Okay? Because sometimes I've received forensic information for samples. There were samples I received from purported to have crossed from Angola to here. But by the time they reached here, there's nothing. Okay, because they were kept by the police for a long time and just kept under normal conditions. Then they are lost. So chain of custody, sample collection, and storage are very important. Is that a question? Is that a hand or it's not a hand? Yes, sir.
Based on the high performance, as you see there from photograph, you have mentioned of the duration, and I don't understand what is.
Pardon?
Based on the high performance, there from photograph.
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue of enter. I don't understand.
Oh, 10.
Yes, what is more? You should know.
Oh, okay. So this compound forms part of components for explosives. Okay. So penta just means 5. So erythritol is a carbohydrate-based sugar. Okay, but when we've got nitrates attached to those to this sugar, it causes this compound to be explosive enough. Okay, yeah, like gunpowder. Okay, are we together? Yeah. So because erythritol is volatile, you can analyze it with GCMS, or you can also come and analyze it with high performance thin layer chromatography. Okay, the same applies with there is a word here, glycerin. Okay, it's the same thing we apply on you know, when you are ladies, I know they would attest to this because my wife does a lot of this thing and my girl children. When you take a little bit of glycerin and just apply it, you feel so warm. So what causes that? Because that thing is a very good source for an explosion. Okay? So that is why you don't see glycerin being shipped anyhow. Okay? They have to ask you. Okay? Few weeks ago, I think a container of ethanol was impounded by ZRA. Okay? Ethanol is volatile. It is not just to be drunk as part of beer, no? But ethanol can be used as a catalyst to form other things that are explosive. Are we together? Yeah. Can we differentiate ethanol from methanol? Methanol is extremely poisonous. Okay? There are these people, some people died recently. They had mixed methylated spirit in, then they drank, yeah. Now we don't know whether they are in heaven or they are somewhere else. The concoction took them faster than they took it. Because some people will say, between you and me, one is going to die. You're holding a bottle of beer. So between you and me, one is going to die. Of course, it's you. The beer will remain and will be drunk by the other person. Okay? Are we together? So methanol and ethanol are very volatile. They can also be used to start fires. Okay? So residues of methanol, residues of ethanol can be analyzed by these techniques. Okay? Acetone is one of them. Acetone, ladies, you have what is called nail polish remover. That sweet smell, please, that one, don't get used to that because it's carcinogenic. I always tell my wife and girl children, if you want to paint nails or remove nails, go outside the house, where there's plenty of air. So acetone is a very good candidate for nail polish remover. But it's explosive also. It's volatile. It's flammable. Okay? Lighter gas in the cigarette lighters. Okay? What else? Thinners. Apart from the smell, it's volatile. It's flammable. Okay? This is why we see cars suddenly a car just catches fire, and an inexperienced person now just goes and opens the bonnet, the engine boot. Then suddenly the fire just okay? It's because there are a lot of components that are flammable. That the insulators that are in the engine area, there, the insulators on the dashboard, all those just are ignitables. Okay? And then, of course, we have what are called fire retardants. I forgot about this. We've got what are called fire retardants. And one of the components of some old fire retardants are chemicals called PFAS. But I think PFAS has been shown to be quite toxic. So maybe it's Kafue Gorge that might be having the fire retardants that are containing on PFAS. Okay, but the rest probably chance is you are just, what are you using in the water? What do you add to the water? It's just normal water? That's normal water? Yeah, so that foam concentrator is it's under the radar to be banned. It's because it's toxic. It's persistent in the environment. Okay. So as a firefighter, start thinking, what could be something, our parents, what were they using to stop fires before this chemistry came? Natural means. Start thinking about them. Write a book about them, and then you become a famous firefighter. Okay? Any question? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. On the glycerin, you said the glycerin contains a component which is explosive. Now, the glycerin is usually used by our ladies, ladies to add on or to mix with lotion. Now, what is the precaution is mentioned?
Okay, so that the glycerin they are using doesn't contain the nitro. Okay, the nitro group is nitro group is NO2. Okay, it's just that combination of two atoms, a nitrogen and an oxygen, one nitrogen and two oxygens, to make what is called a nitro group. It's that group that just makes this compound explosive. Here, again, toluene When you add the 3 nitro groups, we make what is called tri. Tri means 3. Trinitrotoluene. Then that trinitrotoluene becomes more explosive now. So what our ladies are using is the glycerin. Okay? It's safe. Yeah. Sometimes there is also food grade glycerin, which I used to myanga it when I was young because it's sweet, but I don't like it now because you can contaminate yourself. Okay, glycerin can be used in many things, yeah. But as a firefighter, you are a first responder, but you are also one of the citizens who should be alert. Okay? You see a lot of glycerin containers. Where are they going in the first place? You see a lot of, let's say, toluene. Maybe somebody has imported a lot of toluene. You don't know. You should ask yourself, are they going for research or are they going for somewhere? You help ZRA, you help Zema, you help the Zambia police, you help the citizens of this country to curb potential dangers. Okay? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Of late, we've been experiencing power outages, and the houses have been burning, and that has been alleged mostly to electrical issues, even when some of the causes could be the carelessness of the occupants, but due to power outages, they're going to allege that it is due to electrical fault. And that has now caused some conflict between the fire service and also the
Zesco.
power, yes. Power.
So Zesco has indemnified themselves.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Are there some, as the forensic expert, are there some clues which can maybe help these fire investigators or firefighters who could be faced on site to which they can use to identify?
yeah.
Apart from some of the incendiary materials they may try to find in place, are there some other clues which you can see maybe
I
just
think,
by looking at that?
Yeah. For me, one of the first culprits I'll say is, and I was very careful when I was building my house. I said I need properly certified wires. So I went for Zamefa wires because I know the insulators are good, but the core itself is also good enough. Certain wires that have crossed from somewhere into Zambia are of low quality. And in electrical faults, most of the time, remember when electricity is running through a cable, heat is produced. So that heat can melt the wire. The wire is not supposed to melt. It's supposed to be just a conductor. But most of the time, you realize that when you go to the fire incident scene, and you can also tell whether this wire melted before or after the big conflagrance has taken place. Okay? You look for bits to check. So again, there now you invoke metallurgy forensics. Okay? Metallurgical forensics, where we can get the piece of wire. You see the way when a plane crashes, you see those people go with big, expensive microscopes, checking the metals. They want to see whether the metal was at fault or the pilot was at fault, etc. We can do that. I learned about this technique when I was in India. I had a friend of mine who was working for the police forensics. Then he mentioned that they do metallurgy forensics, where they can check, okay, the metal, the way the metal looks, whether the fire was started by this metal or not. Because the way a copper wire or the way a conductor is made, it is made in such a way that it will be easier. When the fire starts, it will melt in a certain way. Okay? or when it is thrown in a fire from the outside, it's also melt in a certain way. Okay, so you need to see coats. What is coating the wire? So I think low quality cables most often have resulted into um, most of those fires. Yeah, but then there are those people who claim that no, me had Zamefa wires here, but it's this on off on off on off. But again, there Zesco has indemnified themselves because they'll tell you, treat each circuit or each wire, each conduct as live. Okay, that is why it's advisable when you are seeing on off. I always tell my children that yes, we have Zamefa in the house, but just go and switch everything from the main. We'll be waiting when we see the neighbors, the electricity in the neighbors are stabilized. That's when we are going to. And incidentally, I don't know by design, incidentally, at my house, electricity lags in seconds. So I see electricity coming in my neighbor's house before it reaches me. We are on, I just don't know. So it becomes as a safeguard. But again, most of the time, people need to invest in very good power surge or arresters, as well as good fuses. Yeah, a good fuse should snap and disengage the circuit so that fire doesn't proceed. Yeah, but there are also acts of God. It's getting hot, and at home I always tell my children, lithium-ion batteries are also now a potential danger. Lithium-ion batteries are a danger themselves because, so as a firefighter, if a lithium-ion battery is on fire, what should you use to put off that fire? How much water should you add to put off that fire? I need hands. How much water? Okay, this lithium battery is this big. So how much water should you use to put off that fire? Hands. Now this one, I'll give something. I'll give 2 slices of biscuit.
We don't use water there. We just disconnect it.
Excellent. Excellent. Never, ever use water on a lithium, whether it has a retardant, foaming agent. Water is an enemy of lithium-ion batteries. If you hear this battery has lithium in it, never use water. Why? Because that lithium is in what we call group 1, and group 1 elements are explosive elements. This is where we have sodium, this is where we have potassium, we've got cesium. These elements, you just leave it in the environment like this, it starts a fire by itself. That is why they are stored under oil. When I went to high school, that was one thing I wanted to see. What are these elements that are stored under oil? And I saw them in jars of oil. When I came to the University of Zambia, it's the same thing. But we tested one. Just a bit like this, how explosive it can be. So now think of a lithium-ion battery. It's huge. Okay? Don't use water. Disconnect. And in many cases, if you found it is already burning and there are no people there, the best is leave it to burn out. Because they are extremely noxious gases that are produced by the lithium ions batteries, and they will knock you off in seconds. You fail to run away. So if the lithium ion battery is burning, just leave it to burn. If you can't access it, to disconnect it. Yeah, just leave it. An incident almost happened in my house, but I was quite close to it, so I disconnected everything and switched off, and it cooled down. Yeah, they are different from solar batteries or the lead acid batteries. Yeah. So There we need to engage ZESCO. We need to also just invest in good quality cables. Yeah, but also residue analysis can be done. We need, as a country, to invest in metallurgical forensic analysis. Okay, that one will help a lot. Will help a lot, or else we'll be beating about the bush. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Just in the preamble, there's something taking better get from your profession, whereby as the first responder, fire investigator, that socket, is not of because of electric fault, but either this masonist came in, with that motive to destroy evidence. Then he or she has to write there. Then we see that maybe there is no evidence that can be of visual. But I want again to know that term or the process by which you can detect to say no. There was, potassium nitrate, which was
residue analysis.
Yes. What's the process?
Residue. So residue analysis is so when you light a fire,
Please.
There are residues that remain behind. Most of it, maybe that's how nature is. Whenever an incident is happening, there is always some sort of clue that is left behind. However careful somebody is, okay. However somebody is, so we can pick. That's why, let's say you come and see. This is a socket, okay. Of course, the conduit is going this way.
Please.
So there is no way this thing will start going that way because there is no conduit here. So we want to see things moving like this. Then it moves either way. So we'll say, okay, maybe it started from here. But then, did it start inside here or somewhere here externally? So around here, we should pick as much detail as possible. Securing an incident scene is very important. Yeah. Don't go there. Sometimes because we have not learned these things, we realize that most of the evidence that we think, this is good evidence, then you realize that because you didn't sample properly, didn't pick samples properly, you yourself have interfered with that sample. So it cannot be admissible in the course of law. It's a null or void sample. Are we together?
Yes,
yeah. That's why you need gloves so that you don't leave anything there. Okay? Because even your sweat, if it falls there, it becomes a contaminant. Mass spectrometry may pick that there was some human here before, and then they trace it. But it's this officer. So what was he doing? You see? So you need to be careful. You need to be careful. Okay? Because as I'm speaking, I'm shedding off some of the hairs. I'm shedding off some of the skin. It is falling. Okay? So at the end of the day, you are at the crime scene. Make sure that as much detail as possible for yourself is removed. Go in proper attire. Okay? Gloves, shield. Okay? In fact, at the time of collection, they even say, don't even breathe. Do you understand? Because breathing, you might be thinking there is no saliva moving out, but the vapor that is coming out is carrying proteins, is carrying some salts that can be traced, cells that can be traced back to you. And so, but this evidence is for the officer. That's the only human who was around there. Okay? But then if the senior and the other people were seeing you, but he was the one collecting, then this sample is contaminated, it cannot be used. We have to be careful. Okay? Especially where biological again, a firefighter will be a person drowned. Okay? A person drowned, 4 days or 5 days or 1 month. And then you're called, you go and pick up the residue. So there'll be DNA there. Okay? So don't go and shed your own DNA. But they shouldn't see your DNA there. They should only see the DNA of the victim. Okay? Or another DNA. Again, we do forensic analysis for that. Okay? That one we use what we call molecular biology forensic analysis. Okay? Which again you should be equipped. We should be this is the type of capacity me I envision that Zambia should be having. We can't be going to Scotland Yard. The last time I was at Old Scotland Yard was 2 years ago. But we can't be going there. We should be building our own capacity here. So firefighters, you're good first responders, but we need to be equipped with knowledge. Anything else? Yes, sir. No. How many women do we have here? Women officers, raise your hands. Okay. Ask her that question so that she answers.
What could be the best equipment to use to collect the sample? Of course, it's not but to avoid contamination.
Okay, so when you are collecting sample on an incident scene, there is specialized PPE. You will be fully covered. If need be, you go with your own gas so that you don't breathe in the environment. You have shoes, your shoes covered with disposables. So this disposable has been irradiated. There is no biological sample there. You push it. It's like you're going to the moon. You see those suits
Yes.
going to the moon. It's this PPE. We'll try to ask Zambia Army to show you because we collected about 15 suits. 15 suits. I think they are still at Ministry of Defense. I know Mr. I don't know how many fire. You are new, eh? You are new. No. Okay. Did you attend any regional meeting? It was held here in Lusaka, and we invited some firefighters. I know Mr. Banda was there. Or was he alone? Invited alone? They are not part of this group. Yeah. So we work hand in hand with the national authority, so that at least you because as a first responder, you need to also wear that uniform when you are going at an incident scene. So properly covered shoe, disposable boots, okay, the gloves, probably double gloves, okay, and also a suit like those COVID suits, similar, but these are impervious, so that your biological matter doesn't contaminate the sample. Yeah. Okay. Wear glasses. In front there should be a shield. Again, there are some glasses. Say Peter, I've forgotten them in my office. There are some glasses we wear in the labs. So wear them, but in front again there is a shield, like those COVID masks we used to have. But this could be a specialized shield such that it covers the whole lot of you. You're breathing in, and the air is being absorbed by the carbon dioxide scrubbers until you go out of the crime scene or incident scene. You take it out. You decontaminate that also. Okay? And you put it in a special way, because it will also be asked for. They will go and say, can we sample in this suit? Because if they say we are not seeing this DNA, and this DNA is that of the officer. And again, usually it's rare that you are going to be found alone on the scene, because most of the time you move as a group, so there will be witnesses around. So don't fear too much. Okay, that this sample, when I collect it, they are going to implicate me. No, they start practicing. Are we together? Sure. Yeah. So don't say no. We cannot collect this because if it goes to forensics, they are going to find my prints on it. No. Yeah. That is why even for fingerprints, don't just go and touch material anyhow. Okay? You need to be careful. But sometimes we don't have gloves. I've been a victim before where there are no gloves. What do? You just leave the person. But fortunately, this is a relative of mine, my elder brother, when he died. So even if fingerprints were there, and I was holding him, he died in my hands. What should I do? But we just need to have safety, caution at the back of our minds. Now, ladies, ask questions. Glycerin? Ah.
Sir,
Yes.
I think in our case, as the fire service, it's not so soon that we are going to have the PPE that you are talking about. So in our case, what are we going to be using? Just gloves? Maybe they are the only ones that are available at the moment.
You can use the PPE, please.